well before the first takeoff. Long after the last landing, the mission of a naval aviator has always been defined by character and courage. Tonight aboard the Midway, we celebrate the Centennial of Naval Aviation, 100 years of naval flight that began in San Diego, the birthplace of naval aviation. We honor those pioneering and courageous aviators aboard America's longest-serving aircraft carrier of the 20th century. Over a legendary career spanning more than 4 decades, USS Midway launched more than 300,000 aircraft, each one manned by America's best. Then and now, thousands of naval aviators have projected American power and American values across the globe. In demanding and dangerous conditions, with selfless dedication and sacrifice, none more courageously than James Stockdale and John McCain, 2 men who define the epitome of perseverance and importance of public service. 2 leaders sharing remarkable similarities and uniquely distinguished qualities. Their common experience began here at the U.S. Naval Academy. As the son of a 4-star admiral and naval aviation pioneer, John McCain would continue a legacy of service, even as he carved his own distinct path. A decade earlier, James Stockdale had walked these same halls, and by now was a test pilot. One of his students, a young Marine officer named John Glenn. John McCain, class of '58, would also become an accomplished naval aviator. When he requested a combat assignment, his path would once again align with Squadron Commander James Stockdale. From the opening moments of the Vietnam War, Stockdale was on the front line, leading the very first engagement over the Gulf of Tonkin. He would fly 200 combat missions over the next 13 months. On his 201st, he would eject from a crippled A-4 Skyhawk. Back broken, legs shattered, Commander Stockdale would become a prisoner of war, the highest-ranking naval officer in captivity. His leadership role wasn't over. It had just begun. 2 years later, John McCain took to the skies over North Vietnam. On October 26, 1967, he flew his 23rd mission. Near Hanoi, an enemy missile found his Skyhawk. Enduring multiple injuries, he was captured and treated in the same rat-infested prison room as Stockdale, and soon joined him at the infamous Hanoi Hilton. For the first time, their paths had crossed, and a legend was born. It's a now familiar story that's lost none of its resonance in the telling. During their captivity, both men endured years of solitary confinement and horrific abuse. Stockdale self-inflicted near-fatal wounds with a razor and then beat himself to keep his captors from exhibiting him as a propaganda tool. McCain rejected early release when the enemy learned of his lineage, refused to meet with anti-war protesters, and suffered immensely for his obstinance. Through it all, both men became symbols of an indomitable human will, reflecting the strength and spirit of the American warrior. When their ordeals finally ended in 1973, they were hailed as heroes. John McCain would be awarded the Silver Star and Distinguished Flying Cross among 17 decorations for service before, during, and after Vietnam. James Stockdale was awarded the Medal of Honor, one of 26 career combat decorations, making him one of the most highly decorated veterans in American military history. The tempest of Vietnam was over, but like Shakespeare's Tempest, for these 2 men, truer words were never spoken. The past is prologue. Stockdale remained on active duty and served as president of the Naval War College before retiring as a Vice Admiral in 1979. Long a student of the classics, he became a published author, writing books that blended his love of philosophy with the realities of service in uniform to his country. His co-author on one book, later a successful movie, was wife Sybil. She was a leader in her own right, who, unbeknownst to him, had established a galvanizing organization while he was held captive. The National League of Families of American Prisoners and Missing in Southeast Asia became a rallying cry for the nation. And for her remarkable efforts, Sybil Stockdale became the only active-duty naval aviator's wife to receive the Navy's Distinguished Public Service Award. Now out of uniform, James Stockdale served as president of the Citadel, and for 15 years was a research fellow at Stanford University's Hoover Institution, writing, lecturing, and inspiring. Retiring from the Navy in 1981, John McCain also inspired from the bully pulpit of public service. Soon elected to the House of Representatives, he was elected to the Senate 4 years later, quickly earning a well-deserved reputation as a straight-talking American. Like Stockdale, he's written about his vision of service and selflessness, passionate words that reflect powerful actions. In 1992, the USS Midway was decommissioned here in San Diego, ending a 47-year career in service to America. But just across the bay, Coronado's James Stockdale would answer the call one more time. His good friend, H. Ross Perot, had asked him to be his vice presidential running mate. 8 years later, John McCain would take his place on the national stage, where he remains firmly ensconced today, an acknowledged leader, a veteran yet vibrant force for American ideals and institutions. On July 5, 2005, James B. Stockdale passed away in Coronado. A national outpouring of respect was manifested in the honors that reflect greatness. Buildings named, statues erected. But his favorite philosopher had been Epictetus, a first-century Greek slave. He liked to quote him, "Never say that I have taken it, only that I have given back." John McCain has drawn inspiration from those who have preceded him, saying in one speech, "Character," wrote the 19th century evangelist Dwight Moody, "is what you are in the dark. Your character is not tested on occasions of public scrutiny or acclaim. Your character is what you are to yourself, not what you pretend to be to yourself or others." Strength of character, especially in the most extraordinary circumstances, truly defines these great American patriots. Two men devoted to their country, forging, projecting, and defending the policies that will protect and enhance our nation for generations to come. Tonight, we are proud to honor James Stockdale and John McCain with the 2011 Midway American Patriot Award.